This video was sponsored by Audible. If you can't fly, then run. You can't run, then walk. Or you can't walk, crawl. But whatever you do, keep moving. MLK. Inky Johnson has embodied that quote with the way that he lives his life. We're talking about a guy who started the race off way behind. He didn't have proper nourishment or just the basic essentials. After working unbelievably hard, he closed the gap, only to suffer a literal, life-threatening injury. And that injury knocked him out of the race for good. This man practiced real-life alchemy. He took the broken pieces that he had left and formed something brand new, something better. This is what happened to Inky Johnson. Cue the Wayne. Inkarus Inky Johnson was born February 12, 1986 in Kirkwood, Georgia. He lived in a 2-bedroom house with 14 people, a couple rats, and hella roaches. Inky and his cousin slept on the floor every night, dreaming of a better life. One day out of the week, they got to sleep in the bed, but it was crowded, so they had that foot to head action. We've all been there. Outside the house wasn't that much better, as drugs, crime, and just overall violence was pretty prevalent, actually very prevalent in Kirkwood. It was so bad that Inky once recalled being robbed at gunpoint as a kid on Christmas. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Many of Inky's uncles participated in street entrepreneurship, selling drugs for quick money, but none of them really had like an elaborate operation, as they were constantly in and out of jail even till this day. But Inky, who was always a pretty religious kid, which was instilled in him by his mom and his grandmother, he stayed away from that life and sought out a straighter path. Naturally hardworking, Inky had a plan. He would race his cousin every night from light pole to light pole, over and over. That was his training. He had decided at an early age he was gonna get to the NFL. That's what he was dreaming about. And at the time, there was no vehicle available that would even suggest to him that it could get him there. But he dreamed it anyway. He said it out loud, and he started taking action towards it, man. It's pretty insane what happens next. So one day, randomly, blue pickup truck rolls through the hood. Everybody thinks it's the cops. Inky's uncles take off running. They go, "Yo, Ink, don't talk to him." Turns out this time it wasn't the cops. It was a random coach. I still don't know why he was there. All right, maybe he was just scouting. Maybe he was a customer of one of the street entrepreneurs. It doesn't matter. Either way, he pulls up to Inky and his young cousins that were racing, and he asks them if they want to play organized ball. Of course he does. This was his shot. You know what I'm saying? And the coach asked Inky's uncle if, they would want to sign him up to play organized football. And they were like, sure, but we don't have the money. This coach told him not to worry about the bread. He'd take care of it. And that night, Inky went from just dreaming about playing in the NFL to being an actual part of a youth football team. I think that part of the story is very important. It's like, think about all the variables there. If not for Inky identifying his dream, going after it regardless of what everybody said, and then working towards it, he might not be in the street that night running. Like, those random events don't line up that exact way to put him on the right path. His parents didn't have the money to put him in football, so he wasn't going to start playing till probably high school. And it might have been too late by then, especially for Inky, because he was a really small kid. Inky was laser locked in on his dream of going to the NFL. After his youth practices would end, Inky wouldn't accept a ride from anybody. He'd stay at the park because he just liked the alone time. You know what I'm saying? You live in a house with 14 people. He just kind of like being by himself so he can think a little bit and dream that dream. Now, his mom was working at Wendy's at the time, and eventually when she would get off work, she would go to pick him up. When she get there, Inky run to the car, go say what's up to his mom, ask her to turn the lights on, be like, "Yo, mom, I know you're tired, but I need you to stay a little while longer. I'm gonna get some extra work in because I'm gonna go to the NFL and you're never gonna have to work again." So boom, she turned the lights on, and Inky, 7, 8 years old, will go back out there and get some extra work in. That is insane. Despite his hard work, many believe that Inky would never be able to achieve his dreams based on where he was from, looking at his family history with all his uncles getting locked up, and the dude was just super small. Some adults in his area, including a security guard that worked at his school, would literally try to crush this man's dreams by constantly telling him that he would end up just like his uncles and that he would not be able to go D1 and play football. Like, he might as well give up on that. Fortunately, Inky never wavered. The 5'9", 135-pound cornerback locked up every receiver that was thrown at him. And against all odds, he earned the scholarship to the University of Tennessee after he earned a 3-star grade on 24/7 Sports. Inky was the first member of his family to go to college. And after he broke that generational curse, like several of his cousins that would sleep on that same floor also went to college. They just had to see somebody like them, from where they from, do it. And like, once you realize it is actually possible, it becomes a lot easier to actually see that vision and go after it. So Inky broke that curse, and that's huge. When Inky got to Tennessee, some of the reporters would ask him, yo, like, you ever really think you're gonna play, man? You got this free scholarship, but are you gonna actually get on the field? Inky would answer, not only will I play, I'll start. Now, fun fact, Inky actually went to Tennessee as a part of the same recruiting class as the guy who started in our last video, Arian Foster. Two unbelievably different dudes, but they boys. So check out my Arian Foster video if you haven't seen it. Now, Inky didn't start right off, but at 140 pounds, this man was playing D1 football, okay? He played special teams his freshman year, and he still kept that same work ethic he had from the time he was 7 years old. He showed up early, he left late, he outworked everybody. Now that Inky was in college and had a meal plan, he was finally able to get properly nourished. So he ended up gaining like 20 pounds of muscle within that first year. Still small, but if he could earn a scholarship at 140, now he's 160. You know what I'm saying? By 2005, Inky's sophomore year, he'd earned the starting cornerback job. With this man's work ethic, you just couldn't keep him off the field. He earned the spot and then took it a step further, cementing himself as one of the best corners in the country. Going into Inky's junior year, he was in the film room checking out the Cal Bears, which was going to be the first team they played that year. His position coach walks in and says, yo, I got some good news for you. Inky's like, what's up? And his coach proceeds to tell him those words that every single college athlete would love to hear. You're projected as a first-round draft pick. Inky runs out the room, he calls his mom, calls his grandmother, and he tells them, yo, that promise I made, it's about to come true. I'm projected as a first-round pick. All I gotta do is play 10 more football games. 10 more games, and I'm a multimillionaire. All of our financial problems are solved. I just want y'all to stop, take in that feeling real quick. Just take it in, okay? Imagine you grow up, you're sleeping on the floor, you're dirt poor, you set this dream in your mind, these random events start to just seem like they just line up, and you just keep controlling what you can control, which is just working as hard as you possibly can. Everything else lines up, and now boom, you're not quite there yet, but somebody just told you, yo, just if you keep doing what you're doing for just a little while longer, you're good. Mission accomplished. 10 games away. During the first game of the 2006 season, Inky, Arian, and the rest of their Tennessee teammates take the field to go against the Cal Bears. Remember, this is the same team that Inky was studying when his coach walked in. And he must have picked something up on tape because the man had 6 total tackles and an interception in a pretty easy win for Tennessee. The people who had projected Inky as the first round pick, they was pleased, like, see? Told you. The next week, Tennessee faced Air Force. Now, Tennessee was ranked like 17 at the time, but they ended up in a dogfight. Inky was having a decent game. He had a few tackles and a deflection. 2 minutes left in the game. Air Force running back catches the ball on a little swing pass. Inky comes down to make a routine tackle, bro. Now, keep in mind, this is a running back. Inky's 160, all right? So when he comes down, he coming down as hard as he can. He got to generate force. So he comes down and boom. But you can see right here when he hits him, the way he ends up making contact, the running back's helmet is directly between his shoulder and his neck. That's not good. Also, Inky's a smaller guy. Not a ton of reinforcement here. Inky's body goes limp and he blacks out. Boom, in an instant, he's back. And one of his teammates, Gerard Mayo, ex-Patriots linebacker, standing over him. All right, come on, Ink, let's roll, baby. Hop up, good hit, let's get it. And Inky was like, I can't move. For a moment, he couldn't feel anything in his body, and then, the feeling came back everywhere, but in his right shoulder, arm, and hand. So Inky's down there, he's having a moment. He's obviously terrified. They bring out the cart, scoop him up. They're carting him off the field. He was coherent enough to remember the crowd chant, Inky Johnson, So he picks up his left hand and he pumps it. He can't move his right, but he's like, asks the doctor to pick it up for him. So boom, he pumps his, you know what I mean? As a sign, look, I'm all right, you know what I'm saying? I'll be back. But he wouldn't be back. At least not the same way he left. They rush him to the hospital. His parents come in, everything's tense. Then boom, the doctor busts in and he's like, yo, he's screaming at, like, I guess nurses. We gotta rush this kid to the ER or he's gonna die. Imagine Inky like, bruh, what? What happened was, on that hit, Inky had busted an artery in his chest and he was bleeding internally. That is life-threatening if not attended to immediately. They operate. Operation is a success. Inky lived. But his dream of playing the NFL, that dream was dead. Inky would never play the game again, and he quickly realized that his dream that he carried with him since he was 7 years old, all the way in Kirkwood, Georgia, was all over. He initially had a difficult time accepting it, as he's just kind of screaming out at the doctor like, yo, I never cheated. Like, I never cheated. You know, I've been working for this since I was 7 years old, bro, and I never cheated one time. You know, like, this can't be right. Like, you don't understand. You know what I'm saying? He had given everything he had, but his entire right arm was completely paralyzed. He torn all the nerves in his brachial plexus. That's the nerve roots that go from your spine and then they come down and connect and control your shoulder, arm, and hand. He had torn his completely to the point where they couldn't be replugged or repaired. After the initial surgery to save Inky's life, he had to go to another facility to get the surgery done to the right side of his body so that he can continue to live and just function as normally as possible. He told the doctor, no disrespect, but the situation is out of your hands, so, you know, do what you need to do, but regardless, I'm gonna come out of this all right. And like, this is the mentally and spiritually strongest dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is insane, man. Just have that type of confidence. Still, like, this just happened. So he undergoes several surgeries and the doctor tells him, yo, you gonna get to know me pretty well, bro. You're gonna be here for 40 days. I kid you not. 3 days later, this man walks out the hospital. The next week, he was back at Tennessee, dog. At school, going to class. Like, he didn't take no break. Like, bro, 10 games left, played one, 9 left, played all but 2 minutes of another one. Basically 8 games to achieving his goal, and boom, it was all over. But still, he had this unbelievable amount of composure, and it was all because in an instant, his perspective had changed. Football did used to be the most important thing until he almost lost his life. Now his life was the most important thing. And it's crazy because the doctors told him, yo, you'll never use that arm again. And he was like, nah, bro, I'm gonna use it every day to inspire people and uplift people and impact people. And it's like, bro, this dude is like an alien. So he left out of that situation. He wasn't bitter. He never showed any signs of weakness or being down. He decided to use what he had, which was intellect and amazing ability to communicate. He now had a phenomenal story, so he started telling it. He's now one of the top motivational speakers in the country. And while he never made it to the NFL to sign that multi-million-dollar deal, found another route. His body was broken, but his spirit never was. Today, he gets paid between $10,000 and $20,000 per speaking gig. 10 to 20 racks to go and tell his story. He tell it to kids, adults, everybody across the board. And he now has a net worth of over $1 million. A dream he was pursuing since he was 7 was not to make the NFL. It was to take care of his family. That was the dream. The NFL was just the means by which he was going to do it. What he does now impacts people on a way deeper level than shutting down a receiver ever will. You never really know what the journey got in store for you. Your job is to just pursue it. Pursue the journey relentlessly, and that's what Inky did. This reminds me of a book that changed my life like 4 or 5 years ago called The Alchemist. If you've been around for a while, you've probably heard me reference this book before. If you follow the blog channel, you know I talk about listening to audiobooks all the time. Can listening make you a better football player? Maybe. Will it make you a better man? 100%. It'll help prepare you for the twists and the turns and the unexpected ups and downs of life. Inky Johnson said that his character was built through his journey. And while we don't all have the strength, composure, and the perspective of Inky, we aspire to be there. Reading the right books will definitely get you closer. It's literally people who have already played this game giving you the game. It's like watching film with a 10-year vet. That's why I'm hella excited to be partnering with Audible. I use this app pretty much every day, and I've listened to tons of audiobooks over there now. But one of the first books I listened to on there was The Alchemist. So the book chronicles the journey of a cat named Santiago. Santiago is pursuing his dreams or his personal legend. That's what the book calls. He starts off with just a little glimmer of what he should be doing or what his personal legend is, and he pursues it throughout the book with increasing levels of aggression. So throughout the book, he's kind of piecing the puzzle together, going on all these misadventures over the years, man. Ups, downs, twists, turns. It's a lot like Inky's story, and I won't spoil the ending, but by the time you get to the end, he realizes that the treasure that he thought was the dream was only a very small part of the picture. And the treasure that he ends up getting, like his personal legend, was way bigger than how small he was thinking. But he had to pursue that and go through that entire journey to prepare him to receive the treasure ultimately. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, it's an amazing book, bro. Now check it out. Audible has the largest selection of audiobooks on the planet, my guy. As a member, you get to choose 3 titles a month, 1 audiobook and then 2 Audible exclusives. Those are audiobooks that you can't get nowhere else. And it's dope, man. You can listen on any device, anytime, anywhere. You get a cool audio fitness program. You can cancel anytime, and if you do decide to do that, you keep the books that you already had. If you want to try a 30-day free trial and get 1 free book, all you got to do is visit audible.com/FlemLo or just text FlemLo to 500-500, and boom, that'll get you started out the right way. My name is FlemLo Raps. I'm gonna holler at y'all next time.
Yeah, you'll never know quitter, 'cause I'ma go get